Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344 with your Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine read today and Oracle cards at the end. And I'm going to get right into it. It's just from today. Before I start too, I wanted to remind people that with twins, sometimes when you're on medication, your twin can experience the effects from that medication. So I kind of wanted to bring that up because I just stopped taking a medication that I've been taking since it was like the end of November or the beginning of December of 2013. So if my twin is watching and you had a change of health around December of 2013 and now are feeling another change of health because I just went off a medication, it's not been quite a week yet, but just in case you've been having some medical changes or just not feeling well, and there's been a change, I'm letting you know. So, and it's also proof of something. So I was guided to put that out there today. Today is August 27th, and we have 27 is the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands, which is very passionate new start energy, okay? So it's passion and creativity. And the day, so the 27 is a 9, so it's universal love, compassion, endings. And then it's the 7 of spirituality on the inside with the feminine energy of the 2 on the outside, coming out as that 9 of compassion. And then we have the day adding up to 46, which is the 6 of Cups, the 2 children in the garden, the twin flames in their purest form, which is a very beautiful kind of like childhood energy. It is a 1, so it's very masculine, direct focus, selfish, like children are. They only see from their point of view. But it's the 6 of the motherly energy on the inside and looking responsible and stable on the outside. But the combination together is really nice, the 6 of Cups with the Ace of Wands, like new passionate beginnings for the twins. So, in my sand art, the only thing I'm recalling right now is seeing Batman and Robin. It's like the twins coming together and the Divine Masculine seeing them as Batman and Robin, like literally attached. Their wings were attached. So that was kind of cool. And I watched, I think it was called Wish I Were Here last night. It was a family movie. It's about family and appreciating each other through your ups and your downs and having, you know, unconditional love for each other. You know what unconditional love is if you're a parent or you have someone in your family who you've loved through a lot of difficult times. Okay? So, for the Divine Feminine first, and also I just got the energy of random energy, and a little stress in your solar plexus today was coming up. And justice for the Divine Feminine. Okay. Also for the Divine Feminine, the new crescent moon at your feet came up. So as we work towards the new full moon, or the new moon coming up, there may be some new starts coming up for you. Also, I was getting like a Hierophant reversed energy, holding Lovers reversed in limbo. So there may be like a marriage literally breaking up, that someone's blocking it from dissolving completely or holding it up. And again, the number 1 came up for the Divine Feminine, just number 1. The major arcana were transition, alchemy, and shadow, which is the Death card, the Temperance card, and the Devil. There were 4 swords, 2 wands, 2 pentacles, and no cups for the Divine Feminine today, which is unusual. And a lot of swords, so you're in your head today. The characters are a lot of kids, so Page of Swords, Page of Wands, Queen of Wands, and Page of Pentacles. So it could be just talking to your kids today, or dealing with some karmic situations, which I can say I've spoken to both my kids today, so that's definitely coming up. And just maybe dealing with some karmic situations, just like bills and things that you haven't been paying attention to lately, just the usual stuff. The codes that I got from today have to do with forgiveness and about 0 point. to ace 0 point, and to foresee the urgency of fire or transmutation. Sometimes there needs to be quick burning of things. So there could be drama coming up. The tower energy could come up. So being able to see the need for these sudden changes and this urgency and this drama, but being able to stay at 0 point during that situation to be most useful to those people and be able to transmute those energies and forgive others. Forgive your friends. Also, I was getting like the Wheel of Fortune, destiny turn for the better for seers. But I was also getting off, this was kind of funny, off a lame-ass type A Englishman to forgive. Okay? So also is getting one God, foreseeing urgency of distress, foreshadowing forgiveness. Okay? So don't, for someone that you may need to still forgive, don't be triggered by that situation when you have that opportunity to forgive. To be patient and hear people out. Asking you to receive came up, and also take it away, Calgon, also came up. So I was really getting in these next 2 weeks building up to the full moon, especially for the Divine Feminine, to just take it easy. Like, don't start anything new, pamper yourself, rest, meditate, really important, and spend time in nature. You really need to keep yourself grounded, and at 0 point, okay? In your knowing, for the Divine Feminine, feel the rainbow. I got like Skittles. Feel the rainbow. You're in the 4D, okay? It's going to be murky. That's why you're going to see all sorts of weird destruction and murkiness around you. You are the diamond in the rough, purging through the rock formation to get to the clearing. You're free, but just a little polish needs to be done. Polishing. Others don't need to see. In your knowing, after negative self-talk, when you're in your head, like today, give yourself self-love to allow the rebirth and transition, because and I was getting confirmation too that the portal's closing now today, which I had said the 21st to the 27th, and then it confirmed again that the portal is now in the foundation. It's no longer in the present or the future, okay? But then in the Divine Masculine, the portal came up as the center of the reed, so the Divine Masculine may still be dealing with portal energies today. The burdens of union align to cross the bridge. In a confession or exposure to the light, so everything's coming out, as the safety net of the root floats away, no longer needed. Okay? So your home, your root issues, your safety, security, stability should no longer be an issue because your heart is your stability. Exposure of secrets and or the high priestess or higher self energy in self-love as energy aligns, you get all your ducks in a row, the gravy train, quote unquote, all hooked up, rolling into the station of Mars going direct today. Okay, so it was interesting that this was a download. The train all hooked up, rolling into the station, and Mars is actually stationing today to go direct. So after the Mars is going direct, this switches to show you the ugliness of things like divorce as an example of disconnect from your higher self. So in a divorce, it's basically the same thing as disconnecting from your higher self. Okay? The divorce between two masculine energies. So it doesn't always have to be a marriage, and it could be a masculine and masculine couple, but it can also be a contract couple from work. But I was getting divorced between two masculine energies. So it could also be a masculine with a feminine, but the feminine is like the bossy one, okay? So I was getting that two masculine energies is negative Y energy, chromosomes. So two negative Y chromosomes creates competition. And I literally got strife, not wife. Okay, so it's not a good combination to have two masculine energies. Even if they're two men, one of them has to be more in their feminine, okay? So when you can't see the beauty in God or the connection, the higher self, there is automatically instability. There is no union. Self-love and full exposure of the truth is the key to self-love. And then chemistry came up. So I just want to repeat this a little bit. It was bringing up divorce as an example to make you understand when you disconnect from your higher self, it's like divorce. Ugliness comes up and strife because you're not connected with yourself. You're not in pi. Your masculine or feminine aren't in balance within yourself. Okay, when you can't see the beauty, there is no stability. So love yourself, and full exposure is the key to self-love. And there is chemistry going on now. The lovers fell. Oh, and this came up too. I was getting specifically that the lovers initially fell, so the divine masculine and feminine, in Atlantis. Okay? And I was getting a pyramid reversed, showing this with the lovers. Okay? I was getting a double socket disconnect. So I was literally seeing like a hip socket, but I was actually seeing it like a, you know, the roller ball on the bottom of a chair that rolls. I was seeing literally that roller ball, but also being related to the hip socket. So the double socket disconnect, I was getting, why do you think outlets come in two plugins? There's always a male and female energies that come together as one. And I was also getting this for the hip sockets as in need of lubrication. So whether it's the electric socket or your chair or your hip, it always needs to be lubricated, that joint of things coming together. There has to be a buffer there. Okay? And there always has to be the male and the female because they have to fit together as one. If you have two mostly male energies together, there's going to be clashing, okay? Because there's going to be competition. I was also getting for your hips, some of you might need to touch electric energy to your hips. So it could just be, you know, sometimes they have those little energy probes to help with healing. You could use those, but also I have like a pulsed electromagnetic frequency device, like I'm blanking out what it's called, because I have one from when I was rehabbing my back, which I still am, but I haven't used in a long time. If I think of it, I'll bring it up. But I was being guided to use that. If you have any of those tools, to use it on your hips, if your hips are bothering you. Okay. So also for the divine feminine, moving out of instability and into self-love and inner knowing. And then I was getting like, you know, stage right or stage left, but instead of that, stage, this is the next scene, karmic with their crank and their cappuccino, coffee and flour, along with a coaster with a heart on it. So if that applies to any of you. Nightmare life of secret sex and no truth. So this was coming up as the karmic energy. So seeing the scene of what's been going behind the scenes with the karmic energy. Then the Knight of Cups, or the divine masculine, is being shown as having a torch for someone other than that karmic energy. They could have reddish hair. But as the Y chromosome is transmuted in the fire of the past, the Knight of Cups sees himself in this other person, but is afraid of rejection. So the divine masculine, seeing that the problem in his current relationship is the Y chromosome, there's too much masculine in the feminine, and is now seeing the difference in his divine feminine, but is now afraid of rejection after what he's put her through. But relationship change is definitely coming up. And then I got, again, it's all about the base, But I was getting specifically, in relate to the divine masculine, he may be, I think this comes up in the divine masculine read too. But I was getting, it's all about the feet. To pay more attention to your feet and legs, the support. That's the base they want you to look at. Not your butt, your legs and feet. That's your support, okay? So divine feminine has kept herself out of the public to a degree, putting herself in a mental prison. If she doesn't see it, it won't hurt her. So this might be your perspective right now, and to realize that. If you're doing that, you're living in fear. Okay, so I was being shown specifically the ankle and the heel and the top of the foot. So it was leaving out the toe area, but the top of the foot, the heel, and then the ankle kind of halfway up to the calf I was being shown has magical energy. It's magical. That the knees are important too. And I was getting peacock feathers, all green. So there might be some divine masculines who really like the ankles of the divine feminine. But it's also saying to keep these areas strong, because it came up in the divine masculine read also, which I'll get into when I get there. So stay in your intuition. So if you feel like you're floating, that's fine, but stay in your intuition. Off your feet, wearing sandals to let your feet breathe, and no work until the new moon. So as little work as you can do is what this is the guidance I was getting for the divine feminine. To float, rest, meditate until the new moon. And that literally lands on September 9th, okay? So purple and green then were coming up, which is what I always see in my third eye as the main energies for the divine masculine, divine feminine. Purple and green crescent moon, which will be coming up right before the new moon. Your thoughts may deceive you. You are not detached. So you may feel detached, but you're not. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because, sorry, I just have to adjust my thing. This time of the year, from my experience the past few years, is a time when all of a sudden you're going to come out of it, and it always happens around this time up to around September 9th. All of a sudden you're going to feel normal again. You're going to feel detached, like you're not in it anymore, like what do I do now? But it's a normal, good feeling too, like if you've been purging a lot, you'll all of a sudden stop the purging and you'll feel good. But if you feel detached, don't worry, you're not. It's just temporary. This is the energies that we feel every year at this time. Okay, so important to remind you guys. You'll actually feel good if you've been purging a lot and you're coming out of that. The portal of 9/9 is like a closing to that. Okay, allows you to feel normal. And then you go into other cycles again. But for those who have not been out fully of their purging process, you're going to feel an ending to your purges. They're going to come up again, but you're going to learn now that they're getting shorter and shorter and you can control them more easily. So, and recently, for the divine feminine, expressing feelings of being left behind with your thoughts and feelings. So it might be coming up to purge at this full moon. And for me, before the full moon doesn't affect me much, or the night of the full moon. It's usually right after the full moon where all of a sudden some feelings might come up, and actually more towards the new moon as well at times. So the foundation has to do with this transition portal, like I said, saying we're finishing up through this portal. And I was getting, where will you go? Wherever you go, divine feminine, he will follow, which was perfect, because after I wrote this and then did the divine masculine read, his portal energy was in the center of his read. So yours is done, you're in the foundation, and his is following right in the center. So that was perfect. As you juggle, the left hand will get caught up in doubt as the right hand stays loose in its power, or the masculine energy. Don't get sucked into the Queen of Pentacles, King of Swords, both reversed, where the divine feminine feels ungrounded and the divine masculine goes into self-doubt and not in their intuition. So when the divine feminine loses her grounding, the divine masculine follows you. So he automatically gets pulled into self-doubt. So it's saying this is incentive for you to stay grounded. Make sure you put your feet out in the grass, spend time outside, Do your meditation. This is all grounding. Salt baths, whatever, ground. Use your stones. Stay at 0 point for the divine feminine. When you feel ungrounded and unstable, he starts to doubt the truth. Just know you are fine. And this isn't unstable in a financial and practical way, not necessarily an emotional way. So when the divine feminine goes into fear about stability and finances, that's when the divine masculine goes into doubt. So just know you are fine and be happy. Don't worry, be happy, okay? Centrally, a small message or news might have come through yesterday or today or in the next couple days due to a wounded warrior who has awakened, healing their dreams, and wanting the divine feminine to know. There may be a challenge of being excited. This divine masculine may be excited to surprise the divine feminine as the King of Cups, or as having come into his unconditional love, healing amidst a bold move while holding back his passions. So now, the alchemy of the 3D dreams in the 5D world, in other words, the 4D bridge between the two of you, because I remind you the Divine Masculine has been holding the gate for the 3D, while the Divine Feminine's been holding the gate for the 5D. So as the 3D gate closes, the Divine Masculine will have nowhere to go but into the bridge, okay? Which bridges him to the Divine Masculine. So the bubble phase and the flames come up after the Divine Masculine splits. There could be a split or duplicity in divorce. So there could be lots of lies and nastiness and no satisfaction. But the King of Pentacles is stable. So it's showing the Divine Masculine doing okay with their business and still getting attention for their work, being successful, but also a sexual new beginning or a creative new beginning happening at this new moon. In the 5th dimension, he's been visiting the Divine Feminine while still married, stalking and trying to wake the Divine Feminine up at night while they're still trying to keep you quiet. So they're kind of sneaking in while you're sleeping, so that you won't, talk about it. There'll be nothing to talk about. Kind of just trying to sneak their way in and still spend time with you, but at the same time to allow for patience and do things one step at a time toward the truth. Like, is kind of breaking himself into it so he doesn't have to deal with it all at once. Reigniting the flame, knowing the High Priestess keys are things like ice cream with love. That is the key to our peace in union. So it's just saying the simple things, just an example of that. And love. So soon for the Divine Feminine, with the brain wars coming up and all the swords energy that came up this morning, and I'm not feeling it so much now, but I just ran, so I might have released some of it, but it was definitely in the solar plexus, some nervous energy, and you could be feeling it from your Divine Masculine as well. So after connecting at the full moon yesterday, which also could have brought up some of those that anxiety energy. So I was getting that basically the universe, God, manifested these energies on purpose to prompt grounding and integration for the Divine Feminine. So if you're feeling nervous, it's because your butt's being kicked to ground more. So you are the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is being shown in the Divine Feminine energy today, not as a fire sign, but as the karmic energy getting in between you and your twin. Okay? So the Queen of Wands holding their light in their crown, like, it's like pretending to have the light, holding flames in the palm of their hands and their hands in their lap, sexually frustrated in a standoff between stubbornness and emotions of sadness. But if you turn the clarification cards up of how you see yourself, it brings everything into a passionate new beginning with a practical offer from the Divine Masculine to the Divine Feminine. So playfulness comes up as well as past life relationship, and then around the Divine Feminine is coming up rejection due to some of the Divine Feminines may turn their Divine Masculine down when they first come back because their exes are still in their life everywhere. And it's like he's not really, he's asking her to burn the past, but he's not burning the past. He's keeping all this attention around him still. He sees his abilities now, though. And the Empress keeps walking at the full moon with sudden epiphanies to share. So this is the Divine Feminine. Clearing the blocks or the shadows. So continue to see your blocks, your shadow work, okay, of forgiveness and surrender. When the Emperor misses his flame and puts it out there, exposing himself, confessing how he got roped into this harsh truth with a dominating karmic, or some may have gotten arrested, or surgery involved. He knew it was time to make other plans or get out of jail, but couldn't find his tools or couldn't hear the tweets from his suite. That's what I got. Or he couldn't reach his tools because if he was in jail or something like that. Okay? He's been manifesting, grounding, and integrating independence to free himself in order to have this leap of faith to offer his Divine Feminine his love. He's walking away from being controlled as the Divine Feminine is surrendering and forgiving. The Divine Feminine knows it's feeling cold in their cave as the Knight of Pentacles offers a drink and a kiss as the hook to get the Divine Feminine to show him something. he's coming to stay for that intimate new relationship, and to show him around the house, maybe where you keep your things and that kind of thing, so they may be coming for a visit. Also, the heart's being cracked wide open, so there's more expansion going on with the heart. The Emperor goes back quickly to tell the truth about wanting a second chance in love, so he's going back to his twin. He's been working too much without attention, and it depends where you are in your journey, so he could be going back to a karmic if you've just started this journey, okay? But this is more a specific soul group that's coming into union. He's been working too much without attention, so doesn't have much to offer at the moment, but he does have that drink and a kiss. Letting go of his ego, too tired to fight or argue. It's been a long battle with possible Leo energy, and now he's ready to choose his path, his twin path. Floating through a portal with the Queen of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Wands energy is being shown as trying to get in the way of the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. She's trying to block him from basically offering anything to the Divine Feminine, but he knows this. Meditating to talk to him and the kids, who may be conflicted in the shadow, trying, so your kids, even for the Divine Feminine, who know, you know, if your kids know your Divine Masculine, they may be conflicted when you come into union too, because they've seen what their mom has been through as far as the pain that they've experienced. So there may be some discomfort initially between your kids and the Divine Masculine. Okay, so meditating, to talk, and to meditate, to deal with kids who may be conflicted about this, and also teaching your kids how to do shadow work, trying to alchemize feeling left out in the cold and open your heart again. So for the Divine Feminine. For the Divine Masculine, and also I wanted to bring up, I had a few sharp pains come up just as to show me something. It wasn't a pain that I was actually having. It was just some, it could be ascension symptoms or the Divine Masculine feeling something. I literally had a sharp pain in my right temple right here, where the beams of light go through in the horizontal way. It's right in front of and above your ear. I had a pain, it was on the right side. And this was just in dealing cards for the Divine Masculine. Okay, so, and again got the Page of Cups again about cracking the heart wide open in the near future. So both the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine got the portal energy or the transition or the death card, but also got the Page of Cups energy. I also got so again I talked about the video to watch. What's his name? I always forget how to say his name. Melchizedek? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he's the one who shows you how to work on the beams to make sure your third eye is aligned properly with your higher self. So I just wanted to remind you about that. I also then got a twitch in my right SI joint that kind of resonated into my right hip and right upper hip. Then you notice all the stuff is on the right side, which is the masculine energy, okay? And then at noon today, right at noon exactly, I started sweating, which I told you I would start sweating when I'm getting masculine energy in my energy. And it was just as I was putting down in the now position for the Divine Masculine, and it happened to be the 7 of Crystals in this deck is the E Tower that I was telling you about, which represents the Divine Feminine's heart space. Okay? So I started sweating as soon as I put that down. Okay, so it's the masculine coming in. So I also then felt inside my right ear and started feeling the drainage, which we get sometimes as ascension symptoms. We get some fluid draining inside of our ear, which I got, and that was right around 12:07 in my right. But all three of these things were on my right side. And then I was dealing the cards for the Divine Masculine. So the majors for the Divine Masculine were Alchemy, Transition, Starseed, and Solar Deity, which are Alchemy is Temperance, Transition is the Death card, Starseed is the Fool, and Solar Deity is, of course, the Sun. There were 3 Pentacles, 2 Cups, 2 Wands, and no Swords for the Divine Masculine. So the stress was on the Divine Feminine today, not the Divine Masculine. But it could be the Divine Feminine in both of you. Okay? So the characters, the court cards that came up were the King of Cups and the Page of Cups. That's it. The numbers 33 and 38 came up. Very important because 38 is the Queen of Cups and 33 is the Christ vibration. And I got a call, a message at 12:12 when I was going through the Divine Masculine codes. I was writing down something about someone I know who I think is a shaman. But the urgency of bringing up shamanistic energy having to do with the Holy Grail being seen. So 38 is the Queen of Cups. So she was being brought up for the Divine Masculine as the person to go to in urgency of heart and emotions, for the Divine Feminine to be seen, and then things naturally start over. And rebirth was coming up, nature and rebirth for the Divine Masculine. Okay, so it's like the Jesus and Mary Magdalene energy was coming up between the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. But it was very in a positive way, but telling the Divine Masculine to reach out to your Divine Feminine to ask for help. And also this shaman energy, having to do with the urgency of the Holy Grail being seen, which is your Divine Feminine energy. But I was also getting then, there may be some Karmic experience, or the Divine Masculine, who may have reached out to someone from the past and been turned down and been rejected. So they get the rejection that the Divine Feminine initially felt from them. So, for the Divine Masculine, there may be a feminine who chose the other guy. The alchemy of some kind of message or news for the Divine Masculine. The Divine Masculine is taking a leap of faith backward to move forward in love, to connect with a prior love that had failed. So it could be the Divine Feminine, or it could be someone from their past. The Divine Masculine has been feeling like they've been in prison. They could literally be in prison, but they've been working out. I see them like literally trying to build up their muscles, but I was specifically seeing arm muscles. But this was all being controlled by the devil, you know, because they're worried about how they look. But also it was more than that. It was more intense than just the working out and how they look. It was definitely still feeling chained to the devil, but in a very dark way. But I was being shown that the Divine Masculine has to stop working out so much on the upper body and needs to work on their legs, because all about the base came up again. It's all about the base, and I was showing specifically for the Divine Masculine, they need to strengthen their legs, their muscles in their legs. And their inner thighs as well. Which, you know, masculines don't often focus as much on their legs as they do on their upper bodies, so they're being told, focus on your lower body, it's more important right now. He's been trying to steal away, but he carries swords, and the magnet is too strong, okay? So it was really cute how this was being shown. He was trying to steal away, but he's carrying swords, which have, you know, they're metal, and there's a magnet right next to him pulling him back. So he's trying to get away, but he can't because the pull is too strong. Trying to block Pi, which is the union of the inner self, the masculine and the feminine of the self. He needs to strengthen his legs, not arms. So then the Hermit or Virgo energy comes up as shedding light on death and rebirth that's happening right now for the Divine Masculine. And I can attest to this. My son's always a good example of this stuff. So in order to align, the Divine Masculine needs to work on his legs. Being a patient angel, magnetizing emotions in order to align with himself at mediation, not meditation. I was getting he's in mediation with something. So it could be a divorce where they're mediating, but it could be contracts, business, something else as well. I was getting from the Divine Masculine saying everything isn't black and white in healing. The key being a chain or train of events. He's working on one more piece of the puzzle for the gravy train. And then I see a cactus and wings. So if that means anything to someone, let me know. I saw a cactus and wings and a pacifier. So it could have to do with a child, but that's not the way I was getting it. I was getting the pacifier is a mediator, someone who's pacifying others, going through a mediation process. There's one missing link in the DNA I was getting, and then I was getting, literally, there's no, this pacifier could be a peacemaker, judge, etc., that kind of thing. But I was getting a missing link in DNA was the download that I got. And then I got, right after that, there's no N, which for me is Jesus, in DA. Okay, so it was taking the N out of DNA. So I don't know if DA has anything to do with anyone. It could be ADA, but it was saying there's a missing link in the DNA related to DA. So then I was getting retreat. So that's usually a break or a vacation for the Divine Masculine, or just time to rest. There's a gag order that came up. Had to hang up the truth with the twin during the awakening process due to this gag order for some. Love partnership came up, working on his self after sneaking away in a bold move. The Queen of Cups reversed. So that could be a karmic, okay? But it could be a very manipulative person. It also could be just someone who's crying a lot. But this Queen of Cups reversed exposed the magician's tools of manipulation. So there could be something that came out at work between the Divine Masculine and his karmic, or in court about something. And then recently, Divine Masculine working with crystals, being detached from his new beginning. He's being patient in the death of a project. So something might have fell through as far as monetary things or financial stuff. Don't want to forget that too. Okay, so the Divine Masculine, making magic to revive work. Okay, so they might have lost a project and trying to make magic to either get something going again or start something new. In the foundation, the Divine Masculine is conflicted about moving through the portal into the Divine Feminine's heart. Okay, because the Divine Feminine's already had his heart for a long time. After news or message, he tried to speak to the Queen of Cups reverse, but she turned away from him. So this could be the karmic energy again. It could be the feminine in some cases. But it's divine. The Queen of Cups reverse is someone who can be very manipulative, or it's just someone who's just really, really emotional. The center for the Divine Masculine is the portal of passion after the King of Wands is tired of bad luck and sneakiness. Okay, they're challenged by being unconditional love, being this passionate destiny, but not grounded with their lover yet. Being satisfied with the divorce process or a break of contract process, but unfair to the Queen of Pentacles, who comes off to the Divine Masculine like an iron gate with a cherry on top and sweet tweets. So the Divine Masculine seeing her as, you know, her heart's shut like an iron door, like he doesn't feel like he can get through to her, even though she's being sweet on the outside. So now, him being in the E Tower, which is the Divine Feminine's heart, he's seeing her as allowing others in now all of a sudden, despite tears that might have come up this week for the Divine Feminine, which he may have felt, due to missing her twin at a distance for a long time. The King of Wands has been working on himself in knowing about Empress. He walked away from the 3D Empress to go towards the 5D E Tower, the true feminine's heart. Impatience to recover in a practical way with magic. Soon he is guided to his destiny through the harsh truth of karmic always putting it all out there and fighting in order to cause drama as the Emperor's heart cracks all the way open, awake but not expressing his feelings yet due to instability. He is receiving major downloads, or maybe one major download, looking back at healing and forgiveness, getting clear about letting go of money. Maybe he was scammed out of money in some way because he wasn't in his truth. The reconciliation card came up, as well as healing from family issues, or healing family issues. And around him, his creation, or whatever he's built with his work, is still there around him. But there could be betrayal there, or just lower back issues. He could be having lower back to sacral issues in his spine. And they're showing me that this is related to rejection, to feeling rejected. Holding back words about love offer and ignoring it. So that would be the Divine Feminine. Divine Masculine having rejected and ignored his Divine Feminine. The Divine Masculine needs to clear blocks of their twin flame, or maybe even just that title, twin flame. They need to also clear themselves clinging to their own screw-ups. And the Queen of Pentacles feeling defeated. So him feeling guilty about that. He needs to clear those blocks. And then, of course, I said already, the cards that came up were nature and rebirth. So it's very important to allow things to happen naturally, to get out in nature, and to allow the rebirth process, to allow things to die, to surrender. Moderation also came up as even more important, and creativity. So stay at 0 point and balance everything in your life and be creative. After romancing, the karmic is exposed and wanting to get his twin flame back and go out on a date possibly, the Divine Feminine has been present as he's seeing that the Divine Feminine has been present this whole time as he's battled her every step of the way. He has now released himself from what others think. He no longer cares what they think. Everything is exposed. And again, this is a specific group, it's not everybody. He moves forward boldly. The past returns when he is not using his intuition in healing his dreams. Maybe an Aquarius energy is still in the way, flirting with him. Fighting is over, and getting real about a split may be needed from the workplace. So alchemizing is coming up, as alchemizing disparaging viewpoints in order to start fresh at work, on crystals possibly, to transition into the King of Cups energy, or the unconditional love. To love by staying present in the E-Tower, or the Divine Feminine's heart, and fully exposed. About moving and travels. So he realizes now, in order to always have the most in his life, he has to keep everything out in the open, exposed, and not try to hide anything and be secretive. So the Divine Masculine is coming to this realization. Okay? And something else I wanted to bring up real quickly too. For some reason, I was guided to write 4, 5, 6 and the different values in the cards of the tarot. Because we're not in 3D anymore, which was like kind of the 1, 2, 3 cycle. Now we're in the 4, 5, 6 cycle. And then 5D would basically be the 7, 8, 9 cycle. So in the 4, 5, 6 cycle, I was showing that 5 anyway would be the middle of the cycle in the 1 through 10 cycle, right, of the tarot cards. I was being shown that the 5s were 0 point. So 5 is like the 5 of Wands, the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles. And they're all conflict, expansion energy, which I'm being shown is the 0 point to be in, because you can handle that as a twin. But it's also showing that the 4 on the one side and the 6 on the other are the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, and you notice it's 46. 46, 46, 46, which is the 2 children in the garden, the 46, the 6 of Cups. I was being shown the 4s as the Divine Feminine energy, and the 6s as the Divine Masculine energy. The 4s being the 4 of Wands, which is union of home and family, the important things to the feminine energy. The 4 of Cups, which is boredom, or feeling sorry for yourself. It's also time alone to integrate that the Divine Feminine wants. It's also the 4 of Swords, which is about rest and meditation, that the Divine Feminine wants, that time to herself. And then the 4 of Pentacles, which is about stability and savings, like feeling stable in that sense. For the Divine Masculine, the 6s were coming up, 6 of Wands being the twins, or the 6 of Wands being success and attention at work, right? That they like that achievement at work. And then the 6 of Cups, which is the twin kids in the garden. He wants playtime with kids, or to just be like a kid. The 6 of Swords is about peace, finding peace and travel. So these are the things that are important to the Divine Masculine. So he comes home from work, he wants peace, but he also wants to travel some. And then the 6 of That's his freedom. And then the Six of Pentacles being equitable distribution. He wants, you know, equal give and take, and also conversation. You know, maybe he wants to have a formal meal at dinner time or breakfast as well. So there's a real balance in conversation. So this came up as very, very clear and important in our relationship. So I thought that was important to share. So let's see if there's anything else. Yeah. And also something about the writing on the wall came up, which was something specific for me early on. So I wanted to bring that up here as well, because that might sync with you as well. And then I did another energy reading for the Divine Masculine where 3 6s came up. So it's all about love, family, and community, okay? And the Tower and the Chariot, which are, you know, really that bold, sudden energy, which was coming up in the Divine Masculine read. So I'm going to do the Oracle cards now. So for the Ascension deck here, for the Divine, Organic, Divine, Feminine, and Masculine, Twin Flames. What is the guidance for the Organic, Divine, Masculine, Divine, Feminine, Twin Flames? Alright, what is the guidance? Organic, Divine, Masculine, Organic, Divine, Feminine, Twin Flames. What is the guidance, please? Okay, we have Thoth, which is, he is the keeper of Akashic Records. And the bottom of the deck is Orion, which is 18. Okay. So Orion comes up as 18, which is also the moon, so we just experienced the full moon. The affirmation is, I honor the masters of Orion and visit them in my sleep. So again, it's saying to connect with your cosmic wisdom, basically, to set your intentions when you go to sleep at night by, you know, doing some little rituals like showering, lighting a candle, playing music, sacred music, walking in nature. Okay, will allow you to bring this spiritual light in. And it says to might be helpful to call in Archangel Mariel to light up your personal soul star chakra, which is above your head, to facilitate your connection. Okay? The card that was pulled is Thoth 31. Okay? And it says, Thoth, a high priest in the golden era of Atlantis, led his tribe to South America to become the Inca civilization. He taught that when every single aspect is in tune, the whole is automatically in harmony. Your guidance is to bring all parts of your life and your body into alignment so that you enjoy perfect health and happiness. Imagine every cell of your body as part of an orchestra. Let your thoughts conduct a magnificent concert for radiant well-being. Attune each area of your life to a higher purpose so that your life is a celebration. And the affirmation is, my life and my health are in perfect harmony. And I love this too, because it's exactly like what my father told me he believed, as, you know, all of the cells of the body working as a whole. So remember that when all the parts of your life and body are in alignment, that everything is in perfect harmony. Okay. So in the past life deck is here. So remember, you know, moderation came up today too. So just remember everything in moderation, and to keep everything within a balance between each other. You know, your physical health, your spiritual health, your mental health, your daily life and balance of everything integrated. Okay, so we have for the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, actually 2 cards wanted to come up, and Native American is at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we have the TP. So it's reminding us to be one with the earth, get out in nature. And I was just getting too, you might want to do some arts and crafts with the kids. I was just getting creative projects with the TP. And also shamanistic energies, which came up earlier in the reading. So if some of you are shamans, or you want to go experience something with a shaman, that's being called on right now, as well as creative projects that are very earth-based. You know, maybe use natural products to do a project with your kids, something like that. And then the cards that came out are unrequited love and finances. Finances came out first. That was the first card. Okay. So you see a lot of coins with were in a bag, and this bag always reminds me of those chocolate cookie straws. And this is unrequited love. Okay, so someone's not happy. So obviously issues with finances, and if breakups are going on, obviously there's unrequited love, and this looks like a spiteful woman. Okay, so there might be a spiteful woman involved who wants the money. Okay, but there might be some issues as far as past lives in your relationship with money. So make sure you know, sit on this and see what comes up for you. And do you have a healthy relationship with your money? And make sure you're not attaching love to money, okay? Because this person looks very, very scorned and kind of all about the money, okay? All right, now the journey of love. For the organic, divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flames. Journey of love. What is the guidance for the organic, divine masculine, divine feminine, twin flames, please? That came right up. And the bottom of the deck is Guardian of the Soul Family, which is number 26. It's very green, and touches of orange and white, and it's got a lot of white in it too. But it's number 26, which is the Page of Wands, which is about asking someone out on a date. It's that very excited energy. But it's also Guardian of the Soul Family. And I might read that too. I like Guardian of the Soul Family. And the card that came out for both is the number 50, the Cloak. And 50 is the 10 of Cups. So it's basically the pinnacle of the emotional happiness and contentment, the happy family. And 50 is a 5. It's that expansion energy of excitement, romance, but it's also change and sexuality. But it is that expansion energy. It's the 0 of the God energy, pure source on the inside, coming through a very exciting person on the outside. Someone who knows a lot about, or a little about a lot of different topics. It makes them very fun to talk to. But that's the energy that's coming up. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how knowledgeable you are. It's about just being authentic to you. And there are many things about you that would be interesting to talk about. So remember that. And it's very, what's the color purple that I'm thinking of? Like a mauve-y purple. Not mauve, but what am I thinking of? It's a very subdued but very beautiful purple. It's very like lily or lilac or something like that. That's not the word I'm thinking of. But I'm going to read that to you. But I'm going to read Guardian of the Soul Family first, which is 26. 26 is an 8 of power, and then 50. So the underlying energy is about power, and then the energy that we're talking about is the 5 of expansion, which was interesting because we just talked about the 4, 5, and 6, and the 5 being the 0 point. Okay, so 26. The Guardian of the Soul Family. This was the underlying energy. You're being drawn to kindred spirits in this physical world by loving guardians in the spiritual world. If you feel you're leaving relationships behind, do not be afraid. The space that such courageous action creates is sometimes necessary in order to have room for the new to enter your sphere of consciousness. And I was just getting a parallel to the buffer in the joint, the buffer in the ball and joint. Okay. You may also feel that somehow a relationship that seemed to be held back from you is now becoming available to you. There is a great soul love calling you into a more intimate connection now. It is sanctioned by the divine. It is a karmic destiny to fulfill. There is love that you are to experience in connection with particular souls, predetermined by the divine plan and spirits connecting. If you are struggling to feel the soul purpose in your current relationships, take heart, for you're being helped by the divine guardians who understand and support the sacred purpose of your relationships. Be open to current relationships healing, whether that means improved communication, an enriched experience, or the realization that you have traveled as far as you can together, and know that new relationships are going to be an important aspect of your spiritual destiny being fulfilled. Trust in the divine timing of your life, and open your heart to the guardians who help you with unconditional love now. The guidance of this oracle for you is that relationship healing has taken place, in present relationships unfolding, in attracting the right relationships for your future growth, and in leaving behind relationships of the past with a peaceful heart. Be gentle with your heart, beloved. All is well. And the poem reads, when I open my heart, you cover me with a blanket of love and warm the silence with your caress. Words unspoken say it all as we become more than we are alone. Okay? So I think that was pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to read the cloak now, number 50. But it's, allow things, it's rebirth, it's allow the death so that you can allow the birth. You have to clear space in order for something new to come into your life. The cloak is number 50. Around you, and I'm connecting already just by saying the cloak. So around you, there's a cloak of your own creation. Perhaps it has served you for a time as an invisible form of protection, as a way to claim needed solitude, as a way to retreat inside to find out what you truly feel, what you truly need, to find yourself after being lost in an ocean of thought and emotion not always your own. Yet the time is fast approaching when you will no longer require that cloak. You have attained an integration within, and spirits connecting, a knowledge of self that makes it possible for you to connect with the world, with others, in a way that does not leave you lost and struggling to find yourself. You have learned how to hold yourself. You have learned how to do this well enough that you can successfully hold yourself and hold another too. You don't have to push the world away. You can invite it in and play, and Spirit's really connecting with me fully. This message this oracle brings to you is that you can safely release the forms of security that you once held. You do not have to abandon your boundaries with others. Rather, your boundaries are so functional that you can enter into relationships with more openness, trusting that your boundary will naturally assert itself when necessary, giving you the connection to yourself that you need when you need it, without having to withdraw from relationship entirely. It is time to trust your own boundaries and practice letting them help you while actively engaging in deeper relationship. You'll have fun. And the poem simply states, loneliness is like a ship in full sail with no wind and no place to go. So it's saying you've had time to get through your dark night and break yourself down and build yourself back up again, and now it's saying you're ready to just go out and be a part of the world again and help others and not be afraid that they're going to get past your boundaries, because you have worked enough so that they will naturally be there. And so not to be in any kind of fear, which you shouldn't be anyway, which you know that. Okay? So some really beautiful messages today, so I hope you like that. Please comment below. Thank you so much for all your likes, shares, subscribes, and your comments, and for those of you who've reached out to me. And just make sure you take good care of yourself. Be kind. Like I said, take it easy these 2 weeks. It's really important for you to stay connected with yourself. Drink your water. Eat as healthy as you can. And make sure you commune with nature and meditate. Okay, really important, especially these 2 weeks. Okay, rise and be loved, guys. Take it easy.